If NBA assistant coaches are actually better than the head coach, then why would they willingly stay assistants? ESPN senior writer and NBA reporter Anthony Slater reported that the Golden State Warriors' top 2 assistant coaches, Terry Stotts and Jerry Stackhouse, are both expected to leave. And not long ago, Golden State had just given Steve Kerr a 2-year, $35 million extension, which means once next season starts, Kerr will really be on his own. Neither of those assistants is lacking in ability, especially Stotts. He's been coaching for nearly 30 years, including 9 as Portland's head coach. He could find work almost anywhere. He really didn't need to stay there propping Kerr up. I honestly wonder if both assistants saw Kerr's extension, realized there was no path to the top job, and decided it was time to move on. The truth is, an NBA assistant coach's job is incredibly detailed. In some areas, they're actually far more specialized than the head coach. On many teams, more than 70% of the tactical prep and rotation planning are handled by assistant coaches. League rules allow each team to carry up to 6 assistant coaches, not counting trainers and analysts. And naturally, the most respected one is the lead assistant. So at this point, the question becomes clear: if they're this important, why aren't they the ones in charge? They're technically the head coach's second in command, but in many ways, their day-to-day work is far more hands-on. They help oversee the entire operation, run practices, and implement the team's core schemes. Take Kenny Atkinson with the Warriors, or Jason Kidd under Frank Vogel during the Lakers' bubble title run. Both went on to become successful head coaches, which tells you plenty of lead assistants absolutely have real head coaching chops. Some assistants make their reputation on one side of the ball. Quinn Snyder, for example, used to be one of the league's most respected offensive minds, and during the Warriors' 4 titles in 8 years run, longtime defensive assistant Ron Adams played a massive role. Back when James Harden was still in Houston, the Rockets had a well-known defensive assistant named Jeff Bzdelik. He clashed with Harden over defensive effort. Eventually, the front office sided with Harden. There are plenty of examples where assistants may have been stronger tactically than the head coach. And if you think comparing Vogel to Kidd, or Kerr to Stotts, or Kerr to Atkinson isn't fair, then let me give you 2 even stronger examples. First, the Los Angeles Clippers, Tyronn Lue versus Jeff Van Gundy. There's probably not much debate about who has the stronger resume as a basketball mind. When the Clippers climbed out of the bottom of the standings during the regular season, Kawhi Leonard himself said Van Gundy transformed the team's defense. Second, back when LeBron James played for Cleveland, the head coach was Mike Brown. And back then, Mike Brown did not have the reputation he has now. People constantly called him a puppet coach. His lead assistant? Michael Malone. Sure, Brown has done solid work with the Knicks now, but outside of this season, you'd probably say Malone was the stronger coach for most of their careers. The NBA has even seen absurd assistant coaching super teams. Take the 2013 to 2014 Spurs. Head coach, Greg Popovich, led assistant Mike Budenholzer, who later became both head coach and president of basketball operations in Atlanta, then won a title in Milwaukee. Brett Brown, who later became Philadelphia's head coach. Becky Hammon, who many believe absolutely had the ability to become an NBA head coach, and later won championships in the WNBA. Ettore Messina, widely considered one of Europe's greatest basketball minds. Current Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson was there. And yes, Jeff Bzdelik too. That same year, Quinn Snyder had just left San Antonio and was immediately hired by Utah's head coach. Even today, the NBA still has assistant coaching super teams. Take the Los Angeles Lakers. JJ Redick, as head coach, honestly hasn't shown much yet. Meanwhile, assistants Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks absolutely have the experience to replace him. So if so many assistants are arguably stronger than the head coach, why not just become head coaches themselves? First, elite NBA assistants actually make serious money. Top ones can make over $3 million a year. Head coaches average maybe $5 to $6 million. Yes, there's a gap, but not one so massive that it changes everything. So for assistants who genuinely love the X's and O's, taking slightly less money while focusing purely on basketball can actually be the better deal. Head coaches, Meanwhile, have to manage player relationships, attend press conferences, deal with organizational obligations, and keep the locker room from imploding. Second, even when some head coaches aren't tactical geniuses, they still provide things assistants can't. Managing egos, handling media, being the public face. Every team needs a spokesperson, or frankly, a fall guy. If someone else is absorbing all the criticism, assistants can focus fully on basketball. Some head coaches may not be stronger tactically than specialist assistants, but they bring relationships that matter. Trades, draft influence, talent recruitment. Sometimes landing one star in the offseason is worth more than winning 20 extra regular season games. If you bring that kind of value, nobody really cares whether you're drawing up the plays yourself. And some head coaches simply hold the job because they have the trust of the franchise star. Plenty of NBA head coaches got hired because stars backed them, and plenty got fired because they clashed with stars, even when they weren't technically wrong. But the biggest reason? Some assistants are playing the long game. They're waiting for the right big market head coaching opening. Guys like Nate McMillan with the Lakers, Jeff Van Gundy with the Clippers. If the head coach gets fired, they're immediately in position to take over a marquee franchise. And honestly, neither of those current head coaching jobs feels especially secure. So why not wait a little longer? Which brings us back to Stotts and Stackhouse. Because if becoming Warriors head coach wasn't part of the dream, who would actually want to spend years as Steve Kerr's deputy? And now that Kerr just got a fresh 2-year extension, maybe they finally decided they'd waited long enough.